Hello everyone. I'm back with another update on the OSSC Pro. Um, as last time, I'll use my standard disclaimer. I'm not really a video person, so there won't be any fancy effects or anything in this. So I apologise for that in advance. But yeah, I just wanted to show you a few things we've been working on. A lot of the things we've been working on in the background, like the remote and the power supplies and things, I'll cover in a separate blog post update where I'm kind of more comfortable working on blog posts than videos. So anyway, let's get right into it. As you might remember from last time, OSSC Pro is going to have two operating modes. That's going to be line multiplier and scalar. And the line multiplier will have two modes as well, and that's adaptive and pure. Now, pure will work exactly the same as OSSC Classic, so you don't have to worry about replacing your classic OSSC. This will do everything that could do and more besides. And adaptive is a kind of new mode that maybe adds 1 or 2 more milliseconds of input lag. You know, we're talking milliseconds here, not frames or anything, and will work with a lot more TVs and let you do a few more fancy things like some more optimal display modes and things that weren't quite possible with pure line multiplication. Anyway, I'm going to set the output option into scalar and just go into the scalar options to go through a few things here. Now, we've got our output resolutions, and as you can see, we've also got the frame lock, and that means now you can set the output refresh rate. So I've got some options here: 50 Hz, 60 Hz, closest Hertz. So if it's a 60 Hz game, it'll choose 60 Hz. And then 2 times. So yep, that means you can now double 60 Hz to 120 Hz if your TV supports it. That will mean a lot of strain on the FPGA, and you'll need to have the fan, a little fan inside, turned on for it to deal with that. But yeah, that's something you can play with if you want to. Why would you do that? Well, you might get a smoother motion on the screen at the expense of maybe a frame of input lag. I'm not 100% sure how much lag that has to add yet, so I'm not going to make any promises that I can't keep. So yeah, and obviously you can have the frame lock on, which means perfectly smooth frame rate, but then there's the I'm just going back to 60 Hz. The thing with games that switch between progressive and interlace, for that you want to have the frame lock off. And since people asked me, sorry, I will show that in a little moment. I want to talk about the scaling algorithms as well. I showed you some of these last time, so I won't dwell on them too much. There's a couple of new ones in there as well. Now, we've got some custom scalars here. Now, what's that? Well, you can now dump a text file onto the SD card, and you'll be able to read the SD card in a PC this time. There won't be any messing about with special formats. And I'm going to read off Marcus's notes for this. These here are polyphase scalar coefficients, which are configured in a format compatible with Mister filters. You probably all know what Mister is. If you don't Google it, it's quite exciting. This means you can download filters directly from the Mister repositories, add them to the SD card. Currently you need to name them scalar1.txt, etc., but hopefully that'll be tidied up in future and you can name them what you want. And yeah, then you can use any scalar that Mister uses. So anyway, I'll just switch back to a generic sort of mode for now. And let's fire up an actual game rather than just look at a blank screen for too long. So yeah, let's go in, and we've got PlayStation 1 here. So now anyone who's played this game knows that it switches resolutions like nobody's business. So I'll just hit start and I'll show you. Hopefully you can see that there isn't any screen blanking as we switch through the resolutions. So every time the little pop-up comes up, it's changing resolutions, and yes, you can obviously switch those off and normally it would get quite annoying, but I'm going to leave it on for this demonstration. So as soon as you go into the character select, you get another resolution switch, which is handled. This game really did gender and racial stereotypes quite badly, but there you go. Yeah, that'll do. And yeah, you can see that's handling it pretty decently. And yeah, we've started the game, and if this was the OSSC Classic, of course, we'd be all over the place by now, with screens blanking and refreshing. And we're into the, oh no, we're not, we're still loading. Classic PlayStation games always take ages to load. Anyway, you get the idea with that. I'll just flick on the scan lines so you can have a little look at that. There will be post-processing scan lines as well. These are what you would consider per processing. So this is applied before and during the scaling, kind of like the FrameMeister did. So this means it's optimal for the source resolution, and you can do potentially more complex scanline effects and things. But if the scaling isn't integer, then the scanlines probably won't be even, and I appreciate YouTube's probably gobbling these anyway, so they won't look good. But yeah, that's what they do, which is pretty cool. Right, I am now going to switch to the Neo Geo. I think I'll stop recording here while I switch over to that and show you some of the optimal scaling modes on that, and automatic phase detection. So I will be right back. Alright, so back again, and I've loaded the Neo Geo test suite, and I've set the mode to 320 column optimal and integer scaling, and all I'm going to do is go to the checkerboard pattern just to show you that, and as you can see there isn't any problem with phase being out of whack on that. I think I can see sort of one line down the middle that looks maybe just a little bit off, but yeah, for the most part auto phase is working okay in this. Now I'm not fully sure yet how well auto phase will work in pure and adaptive line multiplication modes even, but I'm told by Marcus that they should work fairly reasonably, and if there are any edge cases where the auto phase isn't quite right and you really need to, you can or you will be able to override it as well. So yeah, we're pretty pleased with the progress we've been making. There's still plenty more to do, but we'll be discussing that in the newsletter. It's a shame how things have been this year with part shortages and things, so it's taken forever to get prototypes and stuff, so I don't think that we'll get this out by Christmas now, but there really is starting to get towards the end, and I do think I can say with some confidence that early 2022 we'll be able to get units in people's hands out to the community, and once it's in the community, obviously it's open source, and that's when we hope that this thing will really shine, because the community, which is awesome in retro gaming, will get behind it and give it a real push and a boost with features that maybe we've not even thought of yet. So anyway, that's the update. Again, sorry that I suck at making videos, and I'll have more for you on the website and in the newsletter. I'll put links in the notes if I can figure out how to do that. That's how much of a YouTube noob I am. Okay, bye for now.